Keep talking that ish.
I'm AJ Anzaldua.
I'm Brandon Anzaldua, aka the Natty Kid.
Oh,
I'm Damien Espinosa.
all right then. And we're here to talk that ish, and we're here to bring up some topics that everybody wants to hear and talk about. So today we're going to talk about difficulties in relationships and dating today. You know, we believe, or I believe, that social media does affect relationships. What do you think about social media and how it affects relationships?
I think it affects relationships in many ways, many ways and forms. I think it just affects, social media affects us in many ways.
Do you think that social media, when it comes to dating and relationships, grants too much access?
I think so.
Like how?
I think we have a lot of access through social media. I think with everybody being on social media in our early 20s, everybody seeing each other through Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media platform you guys use. I think that it's easy to go on social media and see friends of friends or see random pretty girls online, all types of stuff, even just wherever. Like, I think there's just too much accessibility. I think you could just see everybody, and then once you follow somebody, you can easily just hit them up, say, hey, blah blah, what you doing? Or if you got nice photos, I mean, if you look good in your photos and stuff, then I think it's easy play, especially for females now in this generation too. So
now
that's
not
what
gonna
I
say
think.
I understand, because I'm old school.
Yeah, you're old school.
We didn't
so.
have social media back in the day.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? If we wanted to talk to somebody or hook up with somebody, we had to go straight up to them and
so
talk to them.
The hard D,
to meet up with them, talk to them.
Get the number.
You know, like spit those lines. Like, we actually had to have game.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if y'all got game today, but back in the day,
that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing. I feel like back in the day, a lot of people actually had more game than like today's generation of men and stuff. I feel like today, like everybody, as soon as you find a girl on Instagram that you think is cute and she thinks you're cute, everybody's hitting up their homeboys and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, blah blah, send me a pickup line or something, you know. And then if it works, I mean, it works. I mean, it's kind of fake, but then if you notice in today's generation, everybody that meets each other up for the first date, they're all like awkward and shit. You know what I mean? They're all awkward and shit because they didn't do the grind in public to say what's up, to get comfortable and stuff like that.
So they haven't had that human contact.
Yeah, I mean, even in the clubs today and stuff like that, there really ain't no human contact and stuff, because they just pull up and say, hey, I think you're cute, like, you got Instagram. You know what I mean? And I feel like back in the day, you're like trying to dance with the chick. You got to have skills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to have skills. You got to actually like be about something, get comfortable with the girl. And then by the end of the night, I don't know, maybe she's chill enough with you, but at least back in the day, you can at least get a number so then you can call on the home phone and you guys are hanging out on a daily basis throughout the week and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's all we was collecting was phone numbers.
Yeah, that's what you guys were doing.
You'd have a pocket full of phone, and guess how we collected those phone numbers? On a piece of paper. Because we didn't have no phones like cell phones, like iPhones. We didn't have that back in the day. We'd have paper. You write that shit on the paper and the name, and you stick it in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
So you was gonna make contact later, but we had to develop that physical chemistry. We had to know what them pheromones going between us.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like was our chemistry running between us? Because if we wasn't, the pheromones wasn't right, wasn't nothing happening.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know, and so would you say that today, on social media, maybe it's kind of false advertisement?
I feel like in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends. Yeah, like I think there's definitely. Yeah. What you think?
Well, back to the topic of how social media could affect relationships. There's definitely too much accessibility. I think it's really easy to compared to your day to our day. You know, back in your day, you'd see this beautiful woman, you'd approach that said woman, you go pick up her number, and all you're thinking about is that woman. I could open my phone right now, you know, see this person, see this person, see this person, see this person.
Hey, wait, but you talking to my sister, right?
It kind of ruins. I'm talking in general. It kind of ruins that desire that there was back in the day. You know,
it's
hard to find that now, you know what I mean? And there's definitely a big factor that there was from back then than there is today.
Way too much accessibility.
Right.
So it means that it kind of makes the market saturated.
Right.
Very, very saturated. I feel like
it's not special.
I think that's why there's an
quantity
unbalance.
over quality.
Yeah, I feel that. I think there's an unbalance between females and males today because of that. I feel like because of social media, like if you notice, there's a lot. I mean, men are gonna do what men are gonna do. You know what I mean? But that's what created, like, I feel like, you know, the word that they came up with nowadays in our generation, like simp. You know what I mean? That's what created a simp, I feel like. Because back in the day, I mean, think about it. If a girl seen a
simp
good
was getting no play.
Yeah, if a girl seen a good looking dude like any one of us and stuff like that, like that's really what they seen in public. Right. You know what I mean? But I mean, nowadays they see a cute looking dude and stuff like that. You still gotta work harder. You know what I mean? Because they just open their phone, they got like 25 plus
25
options, you know, that are not even in the same city.
Right.
You know what I mean? NBA players, dudes with clout, rappers, all types of crazy shit.
Do with a yacht
as well.
Yeah, do with a yacht, fake yacht.
Fake yacht.
A lot of fake flexers out there too. So
it's
a lot of fake ass motherfuckers.
At the same time, like I think right now, playing devil's advocate, today's dating world, quote unquote. You get to know a person a little bit more before you go talk to them. Back in the day, you'd go talk to somebody, meet them, blah, blah, blah. Say you hit it off on the first date. The second date, you're going on a date with a stranger. You know what I mean? Like right now, nowadays, you can text somebody, you could learn about them, you can understand what they're into, what they're not into, blah, 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 and then decide if you want to go forward with that. Back in the day, like you meet somebody, you catch feelings or whatever, because it was more lust than it is like what's in them, you know, because you see this pretty girl, you want to go talk to her. Now it's like you see a pretty girl, I'm gonna text her to see what she's like. If I don't like her, boom, out of the question.
Wait a minute,
you know
I'll play devil's advocate on that, because I'm saying that if you got to face somebody face to face, they probably seeing more reality than you texting them and being on social media. Because when you got to face somebody face to face, like you can't be fake.
Right.
Like when you on social media, you can sit back. You're not dealing with the real face to face confrontation. You can sit back there and like think of your plan, have all your fake stuff on there, your fake clout, your fake this and that, talk all that fake stuff, you know. And but when you in face to face, you got to deal with it. You can't play that off, because they can look in you in the eyes and see if you fake or not.
Right.
So to me personally, like, I think that the conversation on social media may be more prolonged and you be able to say more things, but how much quality is coming out of that? Right. Or how much fakeness is coming out of that? Because when you could step up to somebody face to face, I mean, that's the real you. You can't fake that.
Right.
They can feel because they'd be like, oh, wait a minute, this dude's talking about this and that, but he weird. Right. Like, it ain't coming off right. He just, that vibe just ain't right. He talking about he got Lambos and this, but something about that ain't right. Like, he feels like a creep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think you just get a better understanding of who you're eventually going to go on a date with. You could call somebody up and your first date is when you guys get that groundwork, instead of on social media or whatever. That's when you get the groundwork of who they, I guess, could be or who they really are. And then you decide if you want to go forward in that. It's more like the beginning process, I think, could be advantageous. Maybe the long run where their true colors, quote unquote, shows, where it could be disadvantage. But
right. But I tell you, from my point of view, obviously I'm old school. I'm a lot older than you guys. I'm almost 50. Ooh. You know, I know.
Damn.
Damn. I'm almost 50, but I've been married for 22 years.
Right.
And we didn't have like social media like that back in the day. Hey, we had flip phones back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
if
we started getting flip phones. We used to have them phones that come out the wall with the long, and the only
grandma's
privacy,
phone.
Yeah, grandma's. The only privacy you got was going into another room, shutting the door, and then they still can pick up another phone and listen to your conversation. Right. So that's the only privacy you got. I feel that you know, back in the day, I believe that the women had less access. So if I was talking to a woman that I met face to face,
Right.
there's a guarantee she ain't talking to no more than maybe 2 or 3 guys.
What makes you think she doesn't have 5? The same way you're writing down your number, what makes you think she don't got 5 other numbers?
I mean, I'm
waiting
not
for her?
saying that, but think about
That's
that
true.
those logistics compared to the accessibility today. I guarantee if I'm talking to the girl in the club back in the day, she might have a couple numbers, she might have been twisted, she might have lost a couple of those numbers. But she doesn't have 25, 50, 100 dudes sitting in her DM from that last thirst trap video or that last thirst trap picture she just put up.
It's the same for guys as well. I'm sure Brandon has plenty of girls in his DMs hitting him up right now.
Everybody,
Yeah, both.
except for me, I ain't got
It's.
nothing. I mean, ain't nobody. I ain't.
I think
But I'll guarantee you one thing
it plays
though.
to both parts.
I'll guarantee you one thing though. I feel like, okay, so take my real life self, like
Right.
me right here. You analyze me however you want, right? If you see me in public and stuff like that, maybe you take me for maybe you take me for whatever you take me. Maybe you're attracted to me if you were a chick, obviously, no homo shit,
I
right?
get you.
But like if you were a chick, right? Like you see me exactly how I'm in public. But imagine me on Instagram with no photos, nothing cool, nothing Shazam, right? Maybe a profile picture. I mean, I think I look good, so maybe a profile picture will kind of carry.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then imagine a dude with like 10,000 plus followers. He's posting like he got it like that. You know what I mean? He has really professional photos. He has like look at the media thing. You know what I mean? Look at the whole media Shazam world. You know what I mean? Like imagine having like this clout or like all this stuff on your page. And I feel like within that, I feel like I don't know. I think that having the clout, having all these things on your page, like gets you more attraction in a way. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
In
but-
this age, at least. Back then, bro, everyone's looking at everybody like person to person. You can tell, hey, you're this guy, you're that guy. The way you dress every day, the way you come into work, the way whatever, you know what I mean? The way you come in the club and you interact or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
But in defense,
I feel like social media makes a difference.
but
you know?
only in
It's like-
defense, only the main rooster was gonna get anything that night. If I wasn't the main rooster, if I wasn't the main peacock with the feathers up with the most colors,
Go old school.
wasn't nobody else getting played.
I mean,
except
you
for
kind of
me.
built like a peacock, so I guess I really guess
more like a warhog.
a war.
But I'm telling you, like back in the day, if you didn't have the brightest feathers or the biggest rooster out there, you wasn't getting no play.
And I think that's another point too, is that I think that when you're in person, I feel like sometimes like you can, if you're really because there's some confident people that ain't got no pages, no social media, still our age, right? But let's be honest, like they'll get a little bit, you know what I mean? But it ain't compared to somebody who's, look at most of the people that are on social media sometimes, you know what I mean? You ever look at some of these people and you're like, damn, like these guys are like, you can tell they're anxious people. They're not really confident. They're not built. They don't really got much going on, you know what I mean? But on this social media presence, they got everything going on,
Right.
you know what I mean? And that's what makes the difference. All of a sudden, a chick would choose that guy over you. And it's crazy because you're like, what?
Well,
Like,
it depends on who you want to attract. Like, if you're looking for, I think if you're looking for a quality girl who
That's
cares
true,
about you,
too.
she's not
That's
gonna,
true,
she's,
too.
Valid
she's not
point,
gonna care
valid
about
point.
your 10,000 followers or what you got posted on social media. She's gonna care about you. So if you want these like the bunnies at the freaking club, then maybe the
Bunnies.
10,000 followers.
I want the
will get
bunnies.
you some. But if you want quality, then I don't think social media plays that much of a factor.
Okay, I got you
that's
on
true. That's true in that point. But don't you think that like, I don't know, if you had like a certain presence like of something involving social media, you would at least increase your numbers, right? Increase your numbers to maybe within that increased number of females or that pool or whatever, you'd be able to select that one that's actually like,
See, but that's
Rocking with you too?
that's what's the issue right now, man. There's too
I
much.
mean, that is the
there's
issue.
Too much
That is
to
the
choose
issue,
from.
though.
You're
That's the
thinking of,
issue.
oh, I'm gonna get 10,000 chicks and choose which one I want instead of just finding this one girl, liking this one girl for one thing.
Okay.
and
Hey, that's a good
pursuing
answer.
There's
that
too much
one girl,
access.
you know what I mean?
But how much access does she also have in decisions?
That's up to her. The same way you can control yourself.
But does
as-
she have more
as-
access than you?
No, we both have social media.
No. Do you think you got as much access to men as much as she had? I mean, much access
Maybe.
to women
Maybe.
as she has to men? Because she probably got triple, double, triple folds the amount of men in her DMs than you have women.
Well, that's subjective. I could have 10,000 followers. She could have no social media. She could have 10,000 followers.
But what is it subjective to, though? That's
but how many are going to have hearts? And how many of hers are going to have hearts? And baby this, oh, you this, oh, try. How many dudes are going to try to get at her on her social media, and how many females are going to try to get at you on your social media?
But a quality, like we're saying, we're talking about quality, not quantity.
That's just quality. We're not talking about quality at all. Yeah.
A quality girl won't care about the Instagram likes, care about the dudes hitting up her in a DM. She's going to care about the dude that she set herself down
with. Valid. So my question is this. My next question is this. How do you feel as men today, as far as respect, if a woman has a certain picture, a thirst trap picture, and a bunch of dudes are hitting her up? How you feel about that as far as respect towards you,
like
as a man?
That's my girl, right?
That's your girl.
Honestly, I personally would not like that, to be honest. I feel like that's mad disrespectful. Like, if it's on social media and she posting thirst traps and stuff like that, I personally wouldn't like it. I know some dudes like that. I don't know what type of dudes they are.
Cucks.
Cucks.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Probably. I mean, I'm not that guy, but yeah, I've seen some dudes. Yeah. But I personally wouldn't like it.
I would see it as disrespectful also.
I think it's disrespectful also.
Because I'm like, why are you putting that picture up? If you know it's thirst trap, if you know all these dudes are going to respond, like, is my attention enough for you? Or do you need attention from everybody?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it is, though, you know? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Move the mic.
So, devil's advocate. I'm not saying you a cuck, but I'm just saying devil's advocate.
Hey, obviously I grew up in the social media era. I think if you got it, show it, man. Like, if I don't think I think it matters on what you do with the attention you receive. There's dudes who post themselves shirtless. These buff dudes post themselves shirtless. There's these chicks posting themselves in bikinis.
Do you consider that?
Do
you consider that a form of insecurity? They need to be validated.
It depends.
You need to be validated by the world that really doesn't care about you at all.
Right.
Is that validation more important than the people that are actually close to you and care about you?
I think I'm validated by myself. I've posted quote unquote provocative pictures of myself, not attract attention, not like that, but like.
Can you describe these provocative?
You got these.
Only
you got
fans?
these pump. Follow me. I have like these gym pictures posted. That doesn't mean I'm posting them to attract women. I think I posted because I'm proud of myself and I like what I've quote unquote accomplished with my body, so I like to show it off. That doesn't mean.
So when it comes to your body, it'd be like a guy that's never worked out.
Same thing with the girl. If a girl gets in the gym, and she's looking good, like what's wrong with posting
like motivation.
A dude can hit her up 1,000 times, and what matters is if she responds or not. If she responds, yeah, that's disrespectful. If she doesn't respond, that means she's staying faithful to me.
Now, do you think that men look at women's posts in their little outfits when they're coming out the gym as motivational?
I think other women see it, yeah. If I see a guy who's bigger than me in the gym, that's motivational. I don't hate.
Men looking at a woman's picture coming out the gym in her little booty shorts, does he look at that as motivational?
I guess it depends. I mean, like I think you're trying to make it.
No, they don't see it as motivation. But I get what you're saying though, because I feel like the same thing.
Some may see it as motivation.
But this is the thing. No. I think there's still boundaries for me within that thing though.
Yeah, that's
I feel like if she's
yourself.
posting on a motherfucking daily booty pics, like, and I'm talking about like some girls post that shit in like their bikinis, stuff like that, like really, really explicit, almost OnlyFans shit, right? I feel like that's different though, right? That's different. But if she's posting it in like yoga pants, but she's like, you can tell. But this is the thing too. I feel like you can tell like a vibe off of a picture too, though. If she's on the motherfucking sink, taking a picture with her ass on the sink, I think that projects a different vibe than if she's in the mirror, front photo, like maybe shows a little bit of the side and stuff like that, but she's showing like her real progress, right?
Yeah, I feel like dudes can't or girls can't show themselves off the way dudes show themselves off. As men, we like power. We like to look cool in our nice clothes and our cigar. That's attractive to a woman. To a woman, they know like the guy's gonna be attracted to the sink pic or whatever it is you're talking about. So what they post is, or what I would post would be different to like what a girl would post.
So if
that
I
makes sense.
explain to you that men are visual
Right.
and women are more mental. So men, we can look at any woman visually, and we can visually see ourselves sleeping with that woman. I mean, we can. I mean, we're
bold
way.
statement.
I mean, to
Talking that ish.
we're talking that ish. That's my ish. But a man is very visual.
Right.
That's why we like to have the lights on. You know what I'm saying? We like to have the lights on because
Sometimes.
we want to see. You know, but a woman, she has to make a connection, a mental connection, sometimes an emotional connection before she goes through with that act. So going back to social media, knowing that men are more visual than women are, that women need more of a connection. If a woman posts a pic that's a little bit provocative, knowing that men are visual, that they really don't need an emotional or mental connection, what is that?
You're generalizing men. I don't. Me personally, I don't know.
Yes,
how
I'm
big
talking about.
dogs
I'm
y'all
talking
are.
about men with high testosterone.
Me personally,
This generation, I don't think.
you
I don't know
need
if
need
guys
that
have
connection to have something as intimate as intercourse. Like I don't think you can just.
Nice.
At least me, I don't just see a female and think, oh, she's pretty, I'm gonna go sleep with her. It's like you gotta talk to her, you gotta figure out if you like her or not. Like I think that you're generalizing dudes as this just animal that you see something that you like and you just gotta go get it. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
you gotta have this. Or at least with me, I gotta have that connection in order to.
I hear you.
I think the same thing because I feel
like
like I'm the same way too.
right.
I'm not.
But I,
At all.
But I'm not gonna
old
lie.
school. We have high testosterone.
I'm not gonna
back
lie.
then.
I feel like the average
We were
dude though,
savages.
the average dude kind of acts like that though.
It's
Yeah.
still
in my
it's
opinion.
still generalizing then.
No, it's averaging actually, because I feel like most of the population of dudes are actually like that. But I think there's a very good niche, like 10% of dudes, to maybe 20% of dudes that are not like that.
And the
at
reason
all.
I was saying that is because a woman has to know that a man is visual and will react a certain way to that photo if she puts it online, because she knows he's going to react visually and react a certain way, because there's no mental connection in that photo. Now, a woman looking at another woman coming out the gym or whatnot could be like, oh, yeah, girl, like, keep it up. I'm with you, blah, blah, blah. But how would men reacting with hearts and eyes and what's those faces? I'm not real familiar with the fact, but I think there's a
I think
drooling
they'll react the
one,
exact same
a
way
drooling one
females
or
do.
whatnot.
Didn't you say he was drooling right now?
Yeah.
Because of that.
He got
Yeah.
the drool face.
I mean,
look.
that there's all these faces, but men, there could be 50 to 100 guys just reacting. I've seen some of those where they be like, hit me up, add me on
TBH rate.
this. Is that what it is,
Man,
TBH?
that's old
That's
school,
old school.
bro.
I don't
That's
know.
old school. Old
Like, I'm
school.
older than what you guys is
Call
old
old
school
school.
is. Yeah, than what you guys call old school. But TBH or whatever, because they're not looking for a mental connection. As soon as they see that physical picture, they're reacting physically and visual. They're not, oh, I want to mentally connect to this woman because she seems like we can be on the same intellectual level. No, he's not looking at it like that. At least in my
I
point
do.
of view.
I do.
So when you look, so if you looked at a picture with a girl with her ass on the sink taking a picture, you're like, oh, I think I can mentally connect with her.
not in that shape or form.
You're like, oh, I've sat on that.
Well,
I've sat on the sink
I
the
could
same
probably
way
nail
before.
the mental connection with her.
I've sat on that sink the same way before.
all right now.
Well, maybe y'all too, but
Not me. But yeah, I just personally speaking, like I said, back in the day, we didn't have that. We didn't have social media like that. The best version we had of social media was MySpace.
Oh no.
And I thought
that was like what
MySpace
the
was
first
awesome.
motherfucking social media.
Yeah, and I thought that shit was awesome because you could put music on there, you can make your whole page or whatnot. But no, we would have to meet someone personally, and we would have to meet them many times to get to know them.
Well, you can do that now.
No, the things y'all
Absolutely,
can do.
That's true. That's
you can
true.
go on dates now. It doesn't have to just be Instagram dates, you know.
Okay.
I think you can, but let's not lie though. Like in our generation, I feel like sneaky links are like a huge thing. I mean, don't get me wrong though.
Can
like,
you tell me what? Can you?
It's like a
define what
hookup. It's a hookup. But the thing is, I
Booty
feel like
call in old man terms. It's called a booty
yeah,
call.
it's a booty.
Oh, we called it Sancho.
Whatever you call it.
So this is the thing.
We,
though.
we wait till Daddy'd be gone and we just sneak up over there. But it's usually
Well, I mean,
your
it's still
neighbor.
the same today too,
Yeah, it's just
or
called sneaky
back
link.
then. But
Oh, sneaky link.
I feel like obviously booty calls existed back in the day, of
Right.
course. Like we're
Okay.
still humans and
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
right.
But I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, let's look at the culture. That's why they call it hookup culture, all types of things. Because let's not lie, it's been what's the word? Exacerbated or some shit like that.
Exacerbated is a good word.
Exacerbated. Good word. but
word.
it's been exacerbated like a lot. You know what I mean? Now, like that's getting back to the point of social media is that we can literally hit up anybody, say, "Hey, come through." Boom, it's like that. If you got
Wow.
nice pictures, bro, let's not lie.
Like, you
if
don't
you were
even-
like if you were like has some clout or some shit, you were like, I don't know, a local celeb or some shit like that.
Those exist.
Flexing.
Somewhat, I guess, but
Okay.
yeah, I guess that guy. But
Shout out Lexington.
it and no shout outs in this motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding.
No
But like I feel like if you have a certain amount of like, I don't know, attention or something like that going on social media, I think it's literally easier for you to like just literally hit up a couple of people,
If
especially if
that's
you're
what you
good
want.
looking too.
If
That's
that's what
if
you
you
want.
want, of course, if that's what you want. But for the people that want that, it's so much easier than it was back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's no doubt.
Yeah,
That's no doubt. That's why we're called the
Now,
hookup culture.
do
There's
you-
no God anymore in any of this
Yes.
shit. There's no God.
Yes.
There's no God. There's no. I mean, look at the way we run in schools and stuff like that. You know, what I mean, look at the way we doing a whole bunch of things. You know, I don't want to get into politics and stuff like that, but it really is like that. That's
So you
that's why-
literally, so would you say literally that the women and men today have way more bodies than we had back in the day? And way more bodies that you really aren't even connected to, like
Depending on how
Way more
quality you are.
connections.
If you're a top G back in the day, you got a cigar in your mouth, you're looking good in the club, most likely. But even nowadays, like someone who ain't that good looking can go on social media and probably find a girl somewhere.
would she be a dime? Or should
I don't know, man. I don't know. You never know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got
guess,
you.
But-
So you're saying that the maybe social media, and this is a question, has made it more difficult for connections than we had back in the day. Because
I think so. I think
that
honestly.
most women are chasing the top 1%. So they're statistically, if you know the statistically, there's very few men sleeping with all the women. And then the rest of the men aren't getting any play. They're all chasing that one dude at the top.
And you think it wasn't the same back then?
There's kings back in the
I
day. They
think
had 100 wives.
No,
back
I
in the
think
day.
back
so,
in the
too.
day. Well, no, that's back in the day. But
far are we
even though
going?
now kings had harems, they had harems of women, and they would have a wife, but they would have women that they would sleep with, and the wife would accept that.
It's the same thing today,
because
just
he
a
was
different
king.
name.
No, but back then, even the average man can have a wife and kids and a family.
You're saying that today?
Do you believe? No, back in the day.
think it's
Do you believe that today?
I think it's both.
An average man
Yes.
can have a wife and children,
I think so.
and a good-looking wife and children.
It depends what you think.
I think
good
it's
looking, but-
perception. Honestly, I'm just gonna go with the fact that like I think other people perceive people differently.
So you're saying if my boy got if I see somebody with a busted female, and
Hey,
we
he
all
might
know
think that chick is
He probably
fine,
doesn't
but
think he's busted.
like she's
busted.
300 pounds, and I'm like,
Maybe he likes 300
I don't want to
pounds.
be rude, but
That-
I'm saying like,
That's your type.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
if he's
it's
into it,
just-
he's into it. You know?
That's a whole deep conversation. I feel like within itself, because obviously you have models for a reason, right? Models are supposed to be a certain width or
because
something
tax
like
season
that.
only comes once a year, so you usually only grab them during tax season. He looking for a come up,
That's horrible.
but it's facts.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it depends. I feel like it's kind of similar, but like I think that social media has played a huge role in like exacerbating everything that's going on. That's how I feel, truthfully.
Yeah, I think that
But don't get me wrong, though. If an average dude, this is what I truly believe. Like for the most part, I'm not gonna say there's 20% niche where there's like a loyal, good girl and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think for the average, but maybe I think it's been the same way back then too. So if an average female is with an average ass dude and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't know what you want to call the circumstances, but let's say they're mediocre. You know what I mean? Just straight mediocre. I do feel like a dude that's obviously like, I don't know, sometimes has more clout, maybe a little bit more money. He's doing some shit like he's on the rap game or some shit like that. Obviously, he's pulling his chick. You know what I mean? But that's obviously been since back then. I feel like back in the day, too. You know.
I would say that back in the day, an average man, more likely than today, could have a relationship with a good-looking woman, have children, and that she would give.
You know what?
That she would give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I think today, the more valuable women or the prettier girls are not given an opportunity to a young man her age. And Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate's talked about this. The great and deceased Kevin Samuels has talked about this.
Kevin Samuels.
The Godfather has talked about this.
Yeah.
That like two kids in college, both 22-year-olds or 21-year-olds or 20-year-olds, he has the potential, but she's not willing to wait on his potential, that she'd rather go after that older guy that is already making money, set up, has all this stuff going on, instead of waiting on the potential of that young man.
Yeah.
To marrying him based on his potential.
Yeah.
But she'd rather not give him an opportunity because she's already looking ahead at this guy that's already established.
Yeah. No, that's facts. One thing I was going to say, though, is that statistically, for sure, it's already a fact. It's proven fact. I will say, though, back in the day, that relationships actually did either last or last longer than today's relationship.
So right now,
that's actually a fact. So when you're talking about, like, I guess going back to the point of average people or whatever you want to say they are or whatever, like, I feel like even back then, like, relationships, even from the bottom, middle, whatever, I feel like they lasted just generally way longer. There was way more marriages. I feel like that's just exactly how it is. Today, let's be real, it's just casual most of the time. Of course, our perspective, like we want to, have a beautiful girl. We want to settle down, have a really focus on ourselves and stuff like that. But let's be real. Today, it's already shown in statistics, like marriages, all those things aren't as much as they were back in the day.
Like me being married for 22 years, like I'm an anomaly.
And in our generation,
I'm very rare.
Yeah, I feel like that
doesn't happen. Like it's what 80% divorce rate. Like
I think it's like
you find a couple that's been married for 22 years. That's rare. Like that doesn't happen very often.
Well, I think you got lucky with the partner you chose. Like we were talking about earlier, it's a lot easier to find the girl you want today, who you can stick with today. Back then, you found this girl you were with, you kind of liked her, you guys got married or whatever. You guys stuck around together because there wasn't that many options to choose from. You couldn't find this perfect girl that you idolized.
Do you believe that social media gave you more options?
Absolutely.
Are you serious? I think social media saturated the market where you got less quality. Instead, you got more quantity and less quality, because one thing that I've learned being married for 22 years is that there's no such thing as perfection. Right. Imperfection is perfection. Right. You'll never find somebody perfect. You'll only find somebody perfect for yourself. Right. And they may not match everyone else. So you got people like that, I would say, waiting. Oh, I'm going to find this perfect person. I'm going to find the right one. I'm like, that right one doesn't exist. Right. They're not there. You need to find someone right for you. Right. And someone right for you may not be right for everyone else. And then you say that because I found the perfect woman or the right woman, understand this, it's our job as men to keep that relationship together. You know why? Because women are emotional and we're more logical. So a woman, statistically speaking, and this is statistics, statistically speaking, most women file for divorce. Most women will initial the breakup. Most women will leave the relationship. So it's up to you as a man to keep that relationship together, because we don't leave. Most times we don't leave. So as a man, you have to keep that relationship together. So I understand the fact that you're saying, you know, I found a diamond in the rough. I'm not going to say that I didn't. My wife is great. She does a lot of fantastic things. She has a lot of qualities that women today do not have.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out. My wife works full time as a mail carrier. She works at the post office full time. She works her butt off, and she comes home and cleans the house, and she cooks like a chef. You don't find that too often. You see, and she's beautiful. She's beautiful. So you see women that are beautiful, and they may have a job, but they don't know how to cook, and they don't know how to clean. And I'm like,
that's true.
That's not enough for me. I'm like, my wife is beautiful, and she works full time, and she cooks and cleans, and I'm not a slave driver. But I'm saying that's the quality of women that I was dealing with back in the day, that we had back in the day. They were taught that from their mothers before them.
Yeah, I do feel that.
You know what I'm saying? So that quality of woman is incredible. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that she's always the easiest, because she's a strong-minded woman. Right. And women can be strong-minded, but it's you as a man, your responsibility to keep that relationship together. Because it's not, because as soon as she gets upset, unhappy, feels that you're not appreciating her or whatnot, because we're men especially. I'm not going to sit there and brag that I'm more man than the other, but I like my football, I like my boxing, I like my time. You know, I grew up in the old school. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I still have to make sure that my wife is happy, that my children are successful, that I am the chief of my tribe. Right. And I think a lot of times men do not understand that when they're married under God, I'm not going to sound religious, but I do believe in God. When you marry under God, you tell God that I'm married for life. There's no reason to ever get a divorce, for sickness or poor, for any reason. You're married for life. And in that situation, it's your responsibility to ensure that you keep that marriage together, and that your children have a successful, childhood with both parents. Because statistically speaking, children that are born and raised out of two-parent homes are more successful than children that are born, come out of one-parent homes. So you have to take that into account. And that single boys that are raised in a one-woman household are more emotional than a young man that's born with a father. What are the statistics on prison? Most of the men in prison are in there because they got into their feelings for a couple of moments about something stupid. Yeah. They were in their feels. So they're emotional young men, and most of them came from single family homes in the prison system. So if you say, because I chose the right woman, no, I was also the right man. Right. I was a strong enough man to keep that family together, and I'm still doing it today. Right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Hey, so what do you think about staying on the subject of social media and confidence? Right. How do you think that affects confidence? Either one of you.
You can definitely be a lot more confident on social media than you can like we were talking about earlier. It's a lot easier to fake it on social media than it is in person. I've met plenty of people online who are these icons. You meet them in person, they're very shy, timid. They don't act the way they do. Usually they're a lot shorter too. And
like me?
Got you. But
does height matter?
Does height? Napoleon was only 5'8". Remember that?
Was he?
Small.
Yes.
He's a smaller dude.
I thought he was 5'2".
No.
Nah, he was,
No.
Oh, he was 5'8"?
he was a short dude.
Yeah, he was smaller than the average, but he was a powerhouse.
He was 5'8".
Yes.
Anyway.
Really?
Yes, and he was a powerhouse.
Yeah, so I guess I'm the next Napoleon.
You're a little taller than Napoleon, but yes, he
But
was a
yeah.
powerhouse.
Yeah, you can definitely have a lot more confidence on social media than you can in person. It could also translate as well. You can feel yourself on social media, and eventually that soaks into your persona. But yeah, I think it definitely.
I don't
Yeah, I
agree
think
with
definitely.
that.
Well, what do you mean you don't agree with
I
that?
don't agree with that.
Well, what he's trying to say is that because of social media, some people are gaining, I guess, sort of like a false confidence.
Right.
Like
Yes.
you look, you appear.
False
Okay,
confidence.
you know what? I get what you're saying. He means
Yes.
like because of social media, do you actually have confidence IRL, like in real life? You know, not like a false confidence through social media.
Right.
That's basically the question.
Yes, because like I've told my son before, I said, understand this. I didn't have social media growing up. So when I looked in the mirror, I had a mirror at home and I had a mirror in the bathroom at school. So when I got ready in the morning, I looked in that mirror and I had to make sure that my hair and everything was right throughout the entire day because I wasn't going to have an opportunity to look at myself again. So when I went to go use the bathroom, I could look at myself again in the mirror at school, but I couldn't look at myself very. So I had to have the confidence that I was looking right or as right as I could be for the rest of the entire day. And you guys today, you guys have like 200 pictures of the same position over and over and
On
over
the
again.
sink.
This on the sink,
On the
looking
sink.
back, whatever you're doing.
Bad as
Leg
You
up.
know, leg up, whatever. Folded over the sink. But I'm like, you guys take multiple, and you're looking for, and this is the thing, you guys look at yourselves so often, is that you start to get a body dysmorphia. You start to actually see
I believe it.
things that aren't really there. Like, am I not the right angle? Is the lighting wrong? Am I fat? Am I skinny? Is my hair not right? Am I ugly? And then now, obviously, you have to deal with that every day. But I'm talking about like the people in general have to like. That must be horrible.
Right.
If I had to look at myself that much every single day, like 200 photos, I would start picking myself apart.
That and comparing yourself to other people on social
Yeah, to
media
other
are the
people.
standard.
TikTok,
you know?
Tell
all
me
that
about
shit.
that. Let's talk about that. Please
TikTok.
tell me about that.
The standards are very high.
What
especially-
are the standards?
I think, for guys
Mm-hmm.
to be quote unquote these alpha male guys, you got to have money, you got to be tall, you got to be muscular. If you don't have those qualities, you're not.
Yeah, I've heard
an
about those
A1
standards.
man.
I've heard about those standards. See, this is where I'm gonna like. I guess this is my niche. You know, 6 foot, 6 figs, you heard 6 pack or something
Yeah,
like that.
6 pack.
I don't know. I feel like that makes sense. I guess so. But that leads back into our other point about
Yes.
accessibility.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many people out in the world you can see through social media that, of course, now there has to be a specific type. See, because imagine like everybody that's under 6 foot. Imagine the average dudes, right? Like imagine the
The
dudes-
average is
Ma-
not 6 foot.
That's true as well. You know what I mean?
Unless
The
you were
average is
born
not
in,
6
like,
foot.
Sweden.
But I'm saying the average men under 6 foot though. Like imagine most of them though. Like most of them are not probably
El Paso.
Probably not their type. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about throughout the U.S. Like they're kind of maybe I don't know, not attractive or not. Some
The
of them,
average height is 5'9".
Some of them are not built. Some of them are not this or that. Right. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in a different type of niche, you know, so I got a different experience. But what I'm basically getting back to is that I feel like whenever you're averaging both 6 foot and then underneath 6 foot, it's kind of like you might as well. You know what I mean? You might as well get somebody that's over 6 foot. You know what I mean? Average in the face, and compared to somebody that's average underneath 6 foot.
Right.
That's what I'm basically saying. The numbers, it's like, okay, there's dudes underneath 6 foot that are like, okay, he's not really muscular, not really this, not really. That's the average population due to the accessibility of social media, right? So it's kind of like, okay, you might as well get somebody that's 6 foot.
Right.
But
You
the
might as
thing
well get
is-
somebody that's this and that, right? Like,
My argument is it actual accessibility? Because just because you could see them online doesn't mean you're accessible to them. It's just something you could see online. That doesn't mean you're going to get that 6 foot, dude that's rich, whatever, because he has way more options than you have.
But it raises their standards. That's what they're looking for now after seeing
yeah.
after getting plagued on social media that this is
But
what
this
a
is
man
the
could
thing.
be. That's what they look for now.
And I've asked a young lady before, I said, if you're looking for a 6-foot guy with this and that, how are you ever going to meet a human being?
Well, that's the ultimate point.
Because I'm
that's
like,
the ultimate
why?
point.
The issue.
If you're looking for physical characteristics, you're not looking for a human being because you need to meet the person.
Right.
Like you're looking for a height. Sometimes they're looking for a race. Sometimes they're looking for a measurement. Sometimes they're looking for a finance, like a certain financial gain. I'm like, if you're looking for all that, you're looking to be exploited. Because that guy that has all these, he's not looking for you. He knows that you're looking for him because he meets those criteria, and now he's going to exploit you.
And I think that's the main problem is that these girls are looking for this certain type of criteria, right? But then none of these females are bringing that criteria.
They're not bringing...
that matches that criteria to the table. You know what I mean? Like,
how about you bring loyalty? How about you bring a low body count?
Low body count for real.
You know, a man like that's 6 foot, makes a lot of money, and really height. I don't know where this height thing got involved because height ain't got nothing to do with making money. Height ain't got nothing to do with being powerful. I don't know where the height thing came. I'm really confused about that. But a man that's financially astute, that he makes more money than the average, is looking for a woman with a low body count. He's looking for a woman because what does Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson say? And the great Kevin Samuels and that new show that I've been watching, but I forgot the name that I want to give them credit for. A woman is measured on their past. But a man is measured on his future. So if you're not giving me a good past, if you got a high body count, or if you got a past that is going to embarrass me, I can't give you my future. Because my future is, because I'm going to appreciate while you depreciate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I need you to have a clean past, not with a high body count because you were thinking that, oh, a tall guy, you've been giving your body, you've been making these connections with these guys that you believe were tall, financially astute, even though you might have get played because there's a lot of dudes they faking the funk around here. That false flex. Be acting like they be renting Lambos from Cali, bringing them to El Paso, and now you think they be passing cards around like they're producers and this and that, but they're none of that. And then you get exploited. You become another body. You made another connection. But by the time I'm like, and I'm old school, and I've told you before, why date someone that you're not going to marry?
Yeah, no, that's definitely
your
facts.
husband and your wife is waiting on you. Why are you wasting your connections on these individuals that you're not going to marry when your husband and wife is waiting on you and you wasting your time, wasting your connections? Because the more people you connect with, the more difficult it becomes for you to connect with one person.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Like you desensitize
definitely.
yourself.
Yeah, you become desensitized to it. And now everything that those other standards did to you, exploited you, played you, and now you're with a guy or a gal that's really good for you, now you've been so exploited that now they have to deal with everything that happened to you, all your baggage, your trust issues. Your trust issues. They got to deal with your trust issues. And I believe that most relationships, especially with that's the thing I want to talk about today also. When it comes to you guys with social media, the access, do you guys think you need boundaries? Because I see people dating today, they got each other's passwords and usernames,
fuck that.
and you guys can see each other's messages, and I'm like, whoa, when did boundaries go away? When did privacy go away?
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about that? What's your opinion on that?
I think if obviously it's you're breaking boundary. It depends if you set up that boundary, but obviously it's a lot easier to say, okay, fine, check my phone if you got nothing to hide. If you got something to hide, it's a lot harder to be like, well, why you want to be in my business?
But
why do you want to look at this?
The
Why do you want to
question
look at
is, why? Why do you need to look through my stuff?
It's rooted
if
in
you don't
insecurity.
Trust me.
It's rooted in insecurity for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, it's because you're looking for something to find.
Right.
Okay, so would you let your girl have your social media, like passwords and stuff? Even if you ain't got nothing to hide, but like, what do you feel?
I would allow it, but set that boundary later. Like, hey, go ahead and look for what you think there is. But when it's not there, we're done with this conversation. We're not doing this anymore because we're breaking that trust. And why don't you trust me? Why do you want to look through my phone?
Would you still let her like have your access to your accounts though?
Honestly, I wouldn't mind it.
You wouldn't mind it?
I wouldn't mind it if it doesn't become quote unquote toxic, where they're starting to insert themselves in my business instead of spectating my business. You know what I mean? If they're beginning to text people, they're beginning to create these false issues in their head because of their insecurity, then it's a problem. But if they just, for some reason, they want to look through your phone, I don't have a big issue with it, but why do you want to do that? Like let's find the root of the problem. Like, why do you want to do that? Why don't you trust me? You know what I mean?
And that's exactly why I wouldn't let somebody have my social media passwords, because the root of insecurity.
Right.
Because to have a good relationship, I feel like you should try to knock out all the trauma.
Right.
No, you can trust me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no point. We're not even getting to that point because we trust each other and we love each other.
Right.
That's the relationship. No, we're not sharing passwords. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how it should be really.
Yeah, because once you allow it the first time,
it's kind of,
it's not going to end there.
That's why you
I
gotta
feel like
have that talk
You've
after.
enabled that behavior.
Yeah.
The first time you do it, you've enabled that behavior. And they will continue it for the rest, because all of a sudden they're like, okay, I didn't find nothing this time, but maybe I'll find something next time.
Well, that's why you talk to them after and say, like, this is not what we're going to be doing.
I just feel that
If it's going to help the problem now and alleviate it later, then why not?
no, I think you're creating a problem, and you're going to create a bigger problem, because that's not based on you and facts. That's based on that person's anxiety and that person's insecurity, which has nothing to do with you. So you can't fix it. You can't fix their insecurity by allowing them to look at your stuff. There has to be boundaries. Either you trust me or you don't trust me. But if there's no trust, there's no reason for us to be together, because it's going to be toxic ever since.
No, I definitely do think it's like enabling. Like, if you were to let somebody go through your social media, right, even after the talk and stuff like that, imagine the chick, she has trust issues and stuff like that to even do that. She's like, okay, cool, like, and then you give her the talk, you're like, hey, well, we're not doing this, right? But then for the moment, she's like, okay, cool. I looked and I see nothing. I trust him for now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For now.
But then 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3, you know what I mean? Like, and that continuously happening within those years. And you already know she's probably going to be thinking like, okay, let's check. It's been 6 months. It's been 4 months. Like, hey, what's your password? You know what I mean? I haven't done this in 6 months. You know, I know we had that talk. You're probably going to be cool with it because you already enabled it.
Well, if you keep true your word, then you just bring up not that she looked through your phone, but that talk that you had with her. Like, look, we talked about this already. Why do you want to continue to do this? Why is there nothing changing? And if nothing changes, then you move on.
Because you enabled that behavior.
But would you move on?
Why would you want to be with someone who wants to do that in the first place?
Well, of course, no one would really want to do that,
Right.
right? But say, for instance, like that happened, right? And then 6 months down the line, like 6 months later after that incident, she's like, hey, blah, blah, like, can I just look through your phone
No.
once again?
No.
Okay, so would you walk away? Would you walk away if she, okay, obviously there's going to be an argument. Why? Blah, blah, da, 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 you know what I mean?
Be like,
She's
you
gonna-
don't trust me. There's obviously some trust issues we got going on. I don't particularly like that we have trust issues.
Okay.
I'm gone.
But do you believe that that's a problem in today's dating and relationships?
Well, yeah, of course it's
That
a
way
problem.
too much access? Do you think that most couples, 90 to 100% of couples in today's generation, have access to each other's social media because they have anxiety, they have no trust, they have trust issues, and they have to control every facet of their relationships, and it's doomed to fail. Do you believe that that's a big problem in today's society?
Well,
in
yeah, of course.
relationships?
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Do you believe that there's any couples walking around here, or very few, that don't have access to each other's social media?
Yeah.
I think so.
There are?
That don't have access.
That
I
do
think so.
not have
That do
access
not have
to each
access.
other.
I think so.
Yeah,
But the
absolutely.
thing is, I think we're kind of alike because that probably
niche.
wouldn't happen in the first
Right.
place, and we'd be able to set our boundaries. But the thing is, we're not talking about like the average, because there's a lot of dudes. I don't know if you know, but like I seen a lot of dudes that do have that type of relationship going on, and it's enabled. Well, the thing is, we have the strength to actually create boundaries. I feel like,
Right.
but some people actually don't. Like some dudes actually just genuinely get stepped on. I feel like, and
And you shouldn't normalize that. That's
It
why we're
shouldn't
having.
be
That's why we're having the
normalized.
discussion.
course,
to
of
bring,
course,
to
you
bring
know?
that up, that it shouldn't be like that.
Of course,
anymore, you
of
know what I
course.
mean?
Right.
We're just talking about the average type of dudes that let that happen and
Talking
stuff.
that ish.
Talking that ish.
Talking that-
We talking that ish.
Yeah, talking that ish.
Okay, so, and I know you guys are probably going to think, do you guys think, so today's amount of social media, do you think it's beneficial or detrimental? Like, do you think it's a good thing?
I think it depends.
Or a bad thing?
It obviously depends. I feel like it.
Like, I think that you guys are way more tech savvy and way more savvy when it comes to social media. I think I'm better at talking to humans face to face, because that's what I've had to do my entire life. And I'm not real good. I think you guys on social media know how to word things, say things in a way that aren't offensive or that can strike up certain conversations or make a woman or a man respond a certain way towards you. And I don't know how to do that. I talk on social media the same way I talk in person. Like, I don't know the difference. So the same way, if I talk on social media the way I talk right now, they'll be like, oh, offended or no connection or whatnot. You guys on social media know how to word things in a way, well, they'll actually perceive you to be less threatening, less toxic maybe, I'm not sure. But I believe, and through my evidence, is that I've been married 22 years. I've been able to live most of my life without really depending on social media, and I think I've had a pretty good life. I have concerns about your generation with long-term relationships and marriage.
Well,
What do you think about
It
that?
depends what you want out of social media. Social media can easily be turned into a dating site, or social media can easily be turned into just your quote unquote life. There's a lot of people who post provocative, bad things, talking that ish online, and then there's people who just post pictures of where they're at and what they're doing. So it's like, it's subjective to what you want out of social media. It can be detrimental if you let it, if that makes sense.
I think the same thing. Honestly, I think the same thing. I think you can easily get addicted to social media. The average person, obviously, right now, let's be real, Tinder.
Definitely.
Tinder, I don't know if you use Grindr.
That type of guy.
I just started hearing about this
OnlyFans.
Grindr
Of course
thing.
you hear
All
about
that
it.
stuff. Yeah.
And
You heard about
OnlyFans,
that?
I be seeing that online, and they be getting exposed online. And it's funny to me because they'll be like, on OnlyFans, the women will be like, I have independence, I'm independent, I'm on OnlyFans, but then they're like, but you know, a guy owns OnlyFans, and you're paying him.
True.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know much about all those things and these dating
Yeah.
sites, and
So I think it's just overall perspective. I think it's overall perspective of how I use social media. I feel like I use it for the better of myself, obviously, to make phone calls, maybe networking, maybe LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Try to get
Right.
a career. Try to
It's the
do
way to make money
Try to
now,
do
so.
important, productive things. Maybe marketing. You know, maybe talking that ish. Maybe.
that ish.
You know what I mean? Just a whole bunch of things in like a productive way. But I do understand how I think the average though, they do not know how to limit themselves. I feel like sometimes to social media, and they let it be detrimental to like their mental health and stuff. You see it all the time.
you
know
gotta
what I
have
mean?
that willpower.
So if we're talking about the average, yes, I do think that it has negatively affected, like social media platforms at least, have negatively affected a lot of people's minds and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people run around with no opinions. They get opinions by I don't know who. You know what I mean?
or whatever's trending.
World star. You know
It's
what I mean?
trendy.
If it says F Donald Trump, they on that. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they say W Biden or F Biden, they on that too. Most people don't even
another
have
bad
an
thing going on
opinion.
with social
You know,
media.
most people don't look at the free Palestine thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Most people
Getting-
don't even know what's going on.
It's
They don't
mo-
even-
it's modern day
hey,
propaganda.
Hey, they couldn't even point to it on a map. Where's Palestine?
Yeah, they couldn't even point to it on the map, like for real, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just straight up perspectives. I personally use social media, I think, in a healthy way. I'm not sure about you, but you seem like you might, you know? But it's straight up perspectives. But I will admit that, yes, the average population of people, it is taking a toll on their mental, I feel like.
Right.
So
So it would
that's the
cause
reality.
like anxiety issues.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people, yeah. I think that it's even statistically shown that a lot of
Yes.
people can't really speak to each other face to face or make eye contact or actually have real conversations anymore as they were back in the day. That's just a known
Because
fact.
It's much easier to go
You had to
online and
go to
text
career
somebody.
fair. I mean, you still go to career fair in person today, right? But there's a lot of virtual meetings now.
Right,
There's a lot of virtual things. You know what I mean? You can hide your webcam and just
Yeah.
talk over the phone. You know what I mean?
Don't even have to wear pants.
Yeah, yeah. You don't even gotta wear pants. I'm not even wearing pants.
I'm not
right
wearing
now.
pants right now.
Whatever. Y'all wouldn't be sitting next to me if you weren't wearing pants.
Well, I guess we're here.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with you guys, which leads to the next topic, which I'm very interested in.
Is
if
today's
we're
music
talking about,
better?
no, that's not the next, but AI. And I know
AI.
we've been tapping into it a little bit with Chat GBT,
Chat GPT.
GPT. What's the other one called?
OpenAI.
OpenAI.
Oh, it's the same thing.
You guys might as well start naming them off because I don't even know.
They're
them.
all
They're
run
all-
by the same program.
Yeah, they're all the same thing on different platforms. It's just Chat GPT type of thing where you can type in a text and stuff like that.
Now, what do you guys think about AI?
Chat GPT or AI?
AI. is
I
it-
mean, it's AI, but like
Right.
ChatGPT, I think it's honestly a lot
Beneficial,
better. I think
though,
it's
right?
really beneficial for my
Right.
life. Honestly, I use it for a lot of things. Hopefully, my professors don't watch this, but you know, I
You could
it.
use it in a good way too.
I think
like,
professors already know.
They,
Well,
they
yeah,
definitely know
yeah,
about
no,
it.
they
They know
definitely
most of their students are using.
But
ChatGPT.
future AI, like if we're talking about, I don't know, the speculations are what, like robots, all that stuff, you know. Honestly, I feel like it has to be a bad thing, but I think in the beginning to midpoint, it'll be a very good thing. But I think, yeah, there just has to be maybe an evil person or, you know, somebody that doesn't have any good ideas with AI.
That or there's
that-
going to become a reliance on AI. You're going to have someone.
Or,
you're gonna have
yeah,
AI
I
cooking
think
for
that
you.
too.
You're going to have.
I think that too, yeah. Yeah.
So we're not going to be human anymore because we're going to have. Right now, we're not even. We're cyborgs right now. Bro.
Right
I
now,
can pull
'cause
out
of
my
social
phone
media,
and-
'cause of social
and look up
media.
anything right now. Yeah, because of social media.
'Cause of social
Well, the
media.
internet in general. But yeah, AI is definitely scary. I don't know. It's being used right now to propagate people. They can shape our faces right now.
Yeah, and you can do
take
like-
our voices and make us say something that we didn't
you can
say.
like
and
do a
it's
fake.
Oh, yeah.
They could probably do a fake
talking that
podcast of us,
ish.
of us talking that ish, and like
This is
change what
probably
we're
a
talking
fake
about.
one.
This is a fake one.
Wow,
I'm
that's
really Andrew
interesting.
Tate.
No,
I'm really
Andrew
Jordan.
Tate.
No, I'm really Jordan Peterson. But who's the great Kevin Samuels?
There you go, right there.
And that's what's his face? That's James Charles right there.
All right, bro.
Really though, but we gave him the beard and
Secretly.
all that stuff like that, so he looks a lot more, you know, masculine.
Wow, but yeah, AI, I think for like the next, and I don't want to put a date on it, but maybe the next 100 years, maybe not even next 100 years, because think about it, we've only been using technology for what,
Like,
30
yeah,
years.
250 years?
well,
maybe?
if we're
Well,
talking
what
about
kind
like
of tech?
And
digital,
we're talking
yeah.
about the beginning of technology.
beginning technology, yeah, of course.
200 and
but
something
that's like
years?
What, pencil sharpener or something like that.
If
But if
we
you're
call
talking
it
about
mechanical,
computers and like what
No.
robots are going to be made of,
We're
in
talking
30
about
years.
technology.
Like 30 years. But
It
advanced. It compounds. So like
Yeah.
at the beginning of technology, it was really simple and vague.
Mm-hmm.
And but the next year it was insane. The next year after that was even bigger. The next
so
year after
think
that.
about in
it's gonna get-
100 years
Yeah, I
with
think it's
AI.
gonna be. It's possibly going to be crazy. Yeah, it's possibly.
It'll
gonna be
be-
crazy.
And in some kind of way, we would still have to be in control of artificial intelligence.
I mean, hopefully,
Hopefully
I'm
we're
not
long
here.
gone.
Yeah.
by that
I mean,
time.
I
don't want to
won't-
deal with
Well,
that.
100 years? I mean, think about it. We're living longer, too.
Or we might be
We're
living
living
longer
longer.
too. You don't know what's gonna happen in our age too.
I'm good.
Maybe you'll see it at the end of your life, but I don't know. I believe maybe we'll find some sort of way to stay alive or be.
Would you want to though?
Would I want to? It depends. I don't know. Like I know a lot of people would say no, but like I don't know. Like I feel like it'd
I
be kind of
guess it
cool
would-
because what I would use with my immortal life is I would travel to other like life forms and stuff and really find my peace like in another.
But there's peace in
extra.
knowing that there's an end.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Because then you would have to have the mindset then, if you die, does your life really end, or do you move on to another?
I think it doesn't end. I think it obviously.
It just continues.
I'm not gonna say obviously, but
Another
I think
life.
obviously we're cells and stuff like that. I think
Right.
your soul that's inside your physical form barrier right now. I think it obviously gets transferred to another, I don't know, a body or another form of cells.
That you're
and stuff
just
like
energy that just continues.
I think
on.
so. Yeah, we're all forms of
Energy
energy.
doesn't really have conscious, so you wouldn't understand that. So
That you
I think
would
when
just-
I think when you're gone, brother.
You think when you're gone, black?
I think your conscious is gone. So even if my energy wasn't gone, I wouldn't be able to understand where my quote unquote soul is traveling to, if that makes sense.
But what if your consciousness also travels separately?
your
But do you
conscious
think you'll have another life though? Is what I'm saying.
No.
No, you think that you're just.
No.
Well,
This is the end.
that could be a that could be
another
a
conversation.
That
But
could be
that's another conversation.
conversation.
That's another conversation. So
Because he may be a lower life form. To be honest.
Okay.
You know, kind of
I
like
do believe that maybe
reptilian.
lower life forms probably
Reptilian.
do not keep going.
you're
To be
one of the
honest,
reptilian people
One
that
of
came
them.
down that they've
One
been
of
talking about.
probably.
The reptilians. You have been looking a little scaly lately.
All right. No.
So yeah, but okay. So this is what I really want to
That's
talk
what
about.
I've been waiting for. Right
Oh, you
here.
don't want to talk about this one, my man, because I'm gonna kill you on this one. This topic right here.
I'm probably gonna agree though.
Good. You should agree. Today's music versus older generational music. How do you feel about that?
What genre?
All
Yeah.
genres.
What's your question?
Like, is there any
What's
genre?
your specific question about that?
Because like if
Do
you're
you
comparing
think
Beastie
that-
Boys to Drake, then you know.
Oh, come on.
You said what?
If you're
He
comparing
took
Beastie Boys
Boy-
to Drake,
Are
then,
they?
like,
Are they
it's
the
an
s-
easy.
Wait, but are they? Are
They're
they the same genre? Are they?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're both hip hop.
Okay, so you
Drizzy,
pick.
Drake, all day.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
but if you're
let-
comparing Drake, like
so then
Drake
we
and
would-
Pac, then
So then
it's a
we would
different
take
story.
percentages because Drake doesn't make up all your music today. You have a lot of very awful music today outside of Drake. And then I have a lot of incredible music from back then that, like I said, you picked Beastie Boys, but then you also mentioned Pac,
Right.
you know?
But then I still do think it's I think it's your perspective too, self perspective.
My
What you want out of
perspective.
music.
So my perspective, and I think the younger generations are starting to see. Cause I see younger generations starting to listen to more of my generation music because I guess you guys are starting to get it. Like back in the day, you actually had to be able to play an instrument. You had to actually be able to sing,
I mean, that's true.
and
Michael
you
Jackson.
actually had to write some of your own lyrics. You know,
There's
so
ghostwriters back then too.
I know
There
we
was.
did. We
Yeah,
did
there
have
was.
ghostwriters, but we had less than now.
I think
Now I don't know if anyone makes their own music.
music back then was definitely a lot more meaningful than it is now. It's flex. Back then it was a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I was explaining to somebody. If you understand back in the day, like medieval days, the bard, music was normally to celebrate the heroes of today, the heroes of that time, a warrior, a king, someone that did something incredible. And then music all of a sudden started turning to the musicians singing about themselves
It's entertainment no longer.
and their own flex. And I'm like, what did you do in life?
Okay, so do you think
Or
those
in
bards' music was
history.
better than your generations of music?
Well, I think it was more meaningful and long lasting because they were singing about great men and great women that would last a lifetime. They weren't singing about themselves. They were basically, back in the day, it was about telling a story. And music should always be about telling a story. And today it's become about telling, I don't even know if it's a story anymore. It's kind of like short phrases or short.
It depends what you want out of music. I don't want to listen to
sentences.
Beethoven getting ready. You know what I mean? Like
But
you want to get
Beethoven is fantastic.
you want to get turned.
Depends.
to
Beethoven will live to the end of existence.
Yeah, I'll agree with
Some
that.
of the stuff you listen to will not make it that long.
Some will though. There's these certain artists who aren't the regular like flexy dudes who come in and go. Someone like, I'm sure you hate, Drake, has been around for a long time.
No,
man.
I
He's
don't.
been
I don't
influential.
hate Drake. I don't hate Drake. I think that unlike myself, and back in the day, I listened to lots of artists over many genres, and I think today people get connected to one artist, and they believe that artist they can't do no wrong. And I'm like, no, like
Depends.
there's
Depends
2 or
on the
3
Beatles.
songs that rock, and then I think the rest of it's crap.
Drake's the man. Man.
You know, I think
Drizzy,
I think there's a
Drizzy's
couple
the
of his
man.
songs,
For real.
like this new album that he came out with. I listened to it, and I'm having a very difficult time really saying that any of those songs are like incredible.
But for the dogs?
Any,
For all the dogs.
Any.
For all the dogs.
Turn
man.
around.
but I think that because he's Drake, and he has that clout, and there's no one today that can compete with him. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be there.
It was the
it's
same
going to
back
make
then
it.
too. I'm sure all of Michael Jackson's songs weren't all good.
No,
all
but
of Tupac's
remember,
songs weren't all good. But
Mike.
people make them to be good.
Mike had competition. Mike had Prince. Mike had Madonna. Mike had Queen. Queen was more in the '70s and early '80s. But back then there was always competition.
Well, there's Drake, there's Cole, there's Lil Wayne, there's all these other people
wait.
too. Who are like,
Lil Wayne.
You can't downplay Lil Wayne. Brought up Drake.
I love Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's true. But
But
I feel
Lil
like
Wayne
Lil
ain't
Wayne is
making-
far past his prime.
Yeah,
though.
Lil Wayne ain't
But that's
making
what
no
I'm
I'm talking
saying.
about 2000s hip hop in general. aren't you?
No.
You're talking about, like, now?
But are they really a competition though? Because I feel like they were together though. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Miss
Lil Wayne had his
Me.
own.
Well, Lil Wayne came right before, but then he brought Drake up on.
Lil
top.
Wayne's like
But-
the grandpa.
But I think but I will say this though. I think that's the last stage of like competitiveness though. Like was around that 2010
Right.
era.
Right.
Like when Lil Wayne was coming out with Carter 3, all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
whenever Drizzy popped, whenever Birdman, all these motherfuckers like they came out with their music and stuff. I feel like that was a really good era of music though. A lot of people still go over to 2000s hip hop and stuff like that. You know.
Because competition breeds.
But overall, with
better
this
music.
question, though, I feel like it depends. I don't know. I feel like it depends on numbers. I feel like it depends on world impact. For an actual real world view on what's actually good music.
I
and
think
what's
I
not.
can
And then I
name-
think third of all, I think is going to be your perspective. I think it has to be numbers, world impact, and then
Well,
your
numbers can be
perspective.
subjective too. It's a lot easier to sell now than it was back in the
True.
day.
Now.
So you had to sell records back in the day. You
Yeah,
could download
today
That
is
music
is
like
like-
crazy.
true. That is true.
I think I can name 10 artists, and you could maybe name one, maybe.
Me?
Yeah,
Of what?
either one the artist that's
Eh.
compared to the art. Like I can name maybe 10 artists, and you probably couldn't name 10 that are better than them from today's generation.
Possibly. I
Possibly.
could possibly
Like, I
name at
could.
least
Run
3.
it up.
Who you got?
My top 10 like artists of all
Well,
time.
like-
Not all time, your generation.
That you
Our
think,
generation.
that
don't
you think
claim
would
Pac.
be better.
'Cause Pac ain't your generation.
so
Pac was my
2000s. So
generation.
2000s.
I guess,
When
yeah,
was you born?
2000s.
2004.
You are. When was you around, walking around, listening to music?
Ah, that doesn't,
When you
that
were
doesn't
born
count.
2004.
That doesn't count.
You were like, so you were 10 years old at 2014.
That was a horrible stage for rap.
That's what I'm
that
saying,
Was,
like,
that was like Lil
You
Uzi,
can't claim
21.
music that you were like in
2014.
the stomach.
2014 was decent. I feel like 2016 was peak year, my opinion.
So-
But
and-
Fetty
and it-
Wap coming up.
And he
Fetty Wap
put his
was
one eye.
He was
pretty
popping
good.
for that year.
He was
Well,
popping. He wasn't
what do you-
great. He
how
wasn't the
did it
greatest of all
start?
time.
24, then
17,
38.
Produce me.
Yeah.
Fetty Wap, I mean, but that's obviously that's a different type of artist. That's a one-hit wonder, just like in the old days.
J.
It's one-hit
Cole,
wonder.
Drake is like the only really.
J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick.
Kendrick for sure.
Lil Wayne was still in our generation, so I can still
Was he?
claim him.
I could
yeah.
vouch.
I
But
think
Lil Wayne.
2010 was the last.
Justin Bieber.
Well, you do.
Look, even
I
if you
like
don't
had
Justin.
an influence.
If you don't know, no. If you
I
don't like
like
Justin
Justin
Bieber,
Bieber.
he has a lot of talent. He
I
can
like
sing.
Justin Bieber.
He
I
got
do.
swag. He got it like that.
I like Justin Bieber.
really
I'm not
got it
gonna
like
lie.
that. I like
he
Justin
always
Bieber.
had that one guy. With
Justin Timberlake,
the guy with the
Timberland.
beard. Another one.
DJ
Khaled.
DJ
DJ Khaled's another one. I've
Another
already
one.
named how
Bring
many?
up the
Like 7
ocean.
right there.
Right, but they're not going to compare it to the 7 that I'm going to name.
Well,
The only one that could hold probably
Justin
is Drake.
Bieber. No, Justin Bieber holds.
Justin Bieber,
I think
1v1,
Justin Bieber will
so-
be generational. I think that later.
Bieber can hold to Michael. Prince.
Absolutely.
I think Drake can.
Madonna.
Drake can, but not Justin Bieber. Maybe.
I mean, those 3 alone could destroy your whole
But Drake
cast.
can. Kanye is a good.
Kanye. Drake can like hang out.
Nah.
Can he take over? No.
Drake
he can
took
hang
over
out.
our generation the same way Michael
He
took
can
over your
hang out.
generation.
No, but Mike was a whole nother level, brother. Mike was
But they're two different- also-
wide influence.
That is
Queen.
true.
None of your guys
Mike
could
had
even
his
Queen.
controversies, man.
Queen. Come on, I'm naming Queen. Queen.
But let's be
Really?
real. If Michael was making music
Queen?
today, though, he'd be trash. If he made music today, I feel like he wouldn't be as good.
Brother, if Mike was making
And I'm a
music
really
today,
big Michael
if
fan.
Mike was making music today,
You think he'd take
I
over?
think Drake
He'd
would,
wash.
Drake would be one of his background singers, or maybe
think?
one
They
of
did have a
his
song
one of his
together.
background dancers.
AI
Because
generated.
I'm thinking that Drake probably really looked up to Mike, like everyone else.
I
in the
think
world
possibly
did.
he did too. Obviously, you always have to look.
It's kind of
look up
like
to the people
you've
from
only
the past.
had one Muhammad Ali. Mike is the Muhammad Ali of freaking music. Elvis was the Muhammad Ali. I mean,
And Drake's
Elvis.
Mike Tyson. Like,
Yeah, I can. Okay, Mike Tyson's a good. Yeah, you know, he came in there. He was knocking people out. He went to prison. Had his issues.
that was more Michael Jackson.
Got the
though.
tattoo on his face. He's kind of had some problems since. Yeah, I can see him.
Michael
as
had some legal trouble.
I think he's more like a. I think he's more like a Larry Holmes, if you know who that is.
I know who Larry
Consistent. He won a lot. Didn't really do like great things. Didn't really do like crap. He just was a consistent winner for like 10 years. Wasn't flashy. Yeah, I could see him more like a Larry Holmes. Not like a Muhammad Ali, but more like a Larry Holmes.
Who, Drake?
Yeah, just a consistent winner, but nothing over the top
I think Drake is arguably like one of the greatest artists of all time.
of y'all's time.
No,
get it.
I think of all time.
Of y'all's
all
time.
time.
You can put, let's say perspective. You can put Michael Jackson, Queen, but Drake has
Today?
to be.
You
top
could
five.
put- you
Drake
could
has
put
to be.
Michael-
He has more numbers than the
You could
Beatles.
put-
He has more numbers than the
Really?
Beatles. What's that one
You
song?
really want to say he was
More
bigger
props
than the
than the
Beatles?
Yeah, Beatles. Yeah.
You really want to say he was bigger than the Beatles?
Bigger
Are
than the
you
Beatles.
crazy?
I will
Absolutely was.
put
Are you
this
crazy?
on YouTube. I think Drake is bigger than the Beatles.
Guys, he's putting that out there now.
Statistically, he's better.
But
than
I
the Beatles.
think it's
Because
still hit or miss with
Beatles-
Mike. I think it's hit or miss.
Beatles?
With Mike. I
Are
think
you
Mike. I will
crazy?
personally say that I think Mike.
Beatles
is
took
more
over the entire
influential.
world.
I think Michael Jackson is more influential. But I think that Drake is, if not damn near close, because you can't really count his
my
new
goodness.
numbers
guys,
to go against.
Guys, you hearing what he said, right?
Yeah, you heard me. But I do love Queen.
When this
Queen
goes
is really
live,
dope.
write in delusional or not.
Talk-
Because I think he's delusional.
Talking
Oh,
that
For
ish.
real.
I mean,
He's talking
a lot
that
of
ish
But
right
look,
now.
this is the thing I'm saying though.
He just put Drake on the same level as Michael Jackson.
I'm talking overall Drake,
Delusional.
of course. I think the old Drake was like impeccable. Like I think that he made a lot of.
I think the old Drake
amazing,
probably went to
great songs that were hits. Like
I think
He's
hits
been
after
relevant for
hits.
20 years with
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
But don't get me wrong,
How
I
relevant was
thi-
Michael Jackson? For how long?
Michael Jackson's going to be irrelevant for the rest of time. The
No
rest,
one's listening
he'll,
to him that
he'll
much.
never
nowadays.
become.
That much.
Michael will never be. Michael will never die.
Neither would Drake ever.
Do you think that Drake would die?
never
No,
die.
I think that Drake has been doing it long enough that
I mean,
he
we can
wouldn't-
ask these guys right
But
here,
but
too.
at the but at the end of the day, if aliens came down and you wanted them to really know our society, really,
They would listen to Mike.
would you want them to listen to
Him
Mike,
turning.
or you
white.
wanted to listen to Drake?
Touching kids.
You know what I'm saying?
What I want them to listen to
Because
Mike
if they
or
listen
Drake?
to Drake, they're gonna be like auto tune. They already have auto tune.
I'd give him Jimi Hendrix.
They have no.
Put Jimmy up there.
Oh, they really have what's it called?
This is what I would do. I would
What's it
shove-
called when
this is
you
what I would
when
do.
you take music from other people?
This is what I do.
They sample.
I'd probably
I
show
didn't know
him
they
Queen,
sample.
and then I'd probably show him MJ, and then I'd probably go into maybe What do you think? Lil Wayne, maybe Drake.
No, I wouldn't put him in anything that you guys. I'd have him listen to some Elvis.
What is Elvis talking about?
Elvis was fantastic.
Elvis was more dancing.
Elvis is the king of rock and roll, brother.
It was just the
king of rock and
that
roll.
was a dancing era. Was that
no?
meaningful?
Remember,
Was Elvis
back in the
meaningful?
day, that dancing wasn't allowed. You would go to jail if you danced.
Honestly,
like
I don't think I've heard an Elvis Presley song in the last like 3-4 years.
It doesn't matter if you haven't.
years.
But a lot of people remember the Elvis movie just came out not too long ago.
That's
No one
cool.
watched
There's
it.
gonna be a Drake movie, just so you know.
Is
once you
there?
pass it.
Absolutely.
Do you think?
Absolutely.
What do you think Drake is? Do you think he's like some D-list celebrity or something? Like he's like an
Exactly. This guy's on
underground
top of
guy.
the world.
Do you think he's like some random like?
All
running
I'm
around?
saying is
Or
this.
do you think he's like on top of the billboards right
I think
now, like every year
the
almost?
biggest argument that I have is that back in the day,
Even
they
Kanye
didn't-
admits it. Drake
back
is
in
the
the
greatest
day-
of all time, and I stand that.
back in the day, they didn't have sampling.
That's true, but that has
because
nothing
people-
to do.
That's a
That's
different
not-
art form that we
people
use
created-
nowadays.
But that's a different point. Also,
People created their own music, and back in the day, we didn't have laptops. So back in the day, you had to be able to create your own music with instruments. We didn't have auto-tune. So back in the day, it was your actual
So
real
basically,
if
voice.
we had the same
basically, your
technology-
question is who sounds better raw, Drake compared to MJ? Is that your question?
No,
who was
I
a better?
said, I said talent.
better artist.
I said talent.
You said better talent, or
Yeah.
you said a better
Talent.
artist?
There's no way you can compare. And Michael could dance. When's the last? What dances does Drake?
But
do?
I think, but at the same time, I think that takes some talent too, in a way. I feel like Drake, but you can't compare the talents either because they have different music styles.
Okay.
But I'll say this though. MJ, of course, impeccable dancer, impeccable performer, had probably the
Everything.
best shows
Everything.
ever to exist. I feel like better than like Travis Scott, any of these guys today. You don't
get it. You don't get it.
But this is where you trying to make a podcast, but
I'm like, man,
you gotta culture yourself.
You know what that tells you tells me that y'all's generation, boy.
No,
You
that
need to be
we grew
educated
up.
on
Y'all
That,
need to-
yeah,
our
no,
pop
it tells
culture.
us you need to be educated on
I
the
feel
culture
like-
today.
Recent pop culture.
I feel like I don't even know. Like we're the OGs. Like we're the original.
You guys are. You guys are older.
And then you guys are like seeds that just been like saturated and split
And
so
grew
many
and
times.
sprouted into something
And then
better.
you guys are like almost transparent, like weak and transparent and just not as solid as we were back in the day, bro. Like y'all don't even know what real talent sounds like anymore.
I think it's perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Very opinion based because I think that, I don't know, like I'd probably say the same thing once my kid starts listening to music.
True.
I probably won't be cultured.
Because they'll probably
And I think I'd have to probably the same opinion because I'd be like, what? Like, because Drake is obviously going to retire, right? And then I'm going to listen to some guy named, I don't know, Blake, Crank.
Lil
I'm going to
Blake.
listen
No.
Young Crank or
Lil
something.
something.
Your
Yeah.
kid's probably gonna listen to some dude that came from outer space, like alien music somewhere that you can't even
Maybe.
understand the language. And you're like, what the hell is this?
Maybe. I feel like with new music today, you can even barely
I
understand
know, barely
the language.
understand the language. So, but I'll give you this to agree to disagree. I think you guys have a different type of music. You don't
Very
have a
different.
choice.
You can tell. Turn on your radio right
You don't
now.
have a choice. Like you guys had to move on with technology.
Of course,
And
just as
so
you
many
guys.
things have been done. It's so difficult to do something original. It's almost impossible to find an original sound or whatever. So sampling's probably like a normal process because everything probably has been done already.
But then even back in the day, though, they did sample a lot
Ah,
of songs.
that's
too, as
true.
well.
In
and they
history-
did actually take a lot of lyrics
Right.
from older songs.
In history,
from like
they
the
did.
50s, 40s.
You're
even
right.
Probably, possibly Michael Jackson has done that too.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
have the evidence, but I know some guys. And who's that guy? What's his name? The one who says "Ice, Ice, Baby." That
Come on,
dude.
Vanilla
Ice?
Come on, man.
Vanilla
We talking about
Ice.
Vanilla
You know,
Ice,
he took the
really?
instrumental from Queen. That happened.
Hey, I'm not gonna say that.
But
I didn't
obviously-
like that song that came out.
Obviously, in today's world, it's more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, it's gonna happen more because that's what y'all started off with.
But-
That's just music. Music is just art. If you look at music, it's art. Your self opinion on it. You don't like our today's music. I don't like most of it too. But there's some that I do like. You know what I mean? It's all opinion. And I like a lot of Queen. I like a lot of MJ. So it's really hard because they're two two different genres of music, and it's just self-perspective, you know.
Right.
Very self-perspective, and it's really hard to say. But I'm going to say that I would think that the older gen is overall more talented and better. I will say that. But I'm not going to say that the Beatles, I'm going to say arguably MJ is kind of like Drake today.
But
I will say that, though. I'll stand
were-
on that point because of
Beatles were
numbers. Because of
incredible.
numbers, statistics, impact, I would say that. But opinion, yeah, you don't like Drake. I like Drake. So my opinion is going to stand with Drake. You won't.
Let's not get that confused. I do like Drake. I'm just not obsessed with Drake. That's all. Like I like listening to, like I got a Drake song here or there. I don't have his old album. Like I like a couple songs. And I like a couple of songs and genres from lots of different musicians all over the world. So I don't like,
And that's just like saying NWA. Fucking.
I like some songs from them. I don't like the
you
whole
know,
album.
And the thing is,
per
a lot of
se.
people in your generation, they bring up NWA. They have a movie, right? And I feel like Drake is way bigger than NWA, right? You know,
You see,
Debatable.
you just-
Debatable.
man.
They were a lot more impactful.
Look, what you were saying was going in the
good,
right
and then,
direction.
yeah,
You just
he
played
stepped
yourself.
overboard.
I don't
just
know. I
played
feel
yourself.
like let's be real. How many people walking around actually know NWA? Like
They
really?
revolutionized hip hop.
Like-
they,
Well, of
they
course,
revolutionized
mad respect
gangster
towards
rap.
NWA. Mad respect. They changed it. They changed the game.
They
straight
turned it
up.
from club rap to gangster rap. That's where it all started. Gangster
Straight
rap was
up,
NWA.
yeah, they changed it straight up, and that's when we got into like 50, all these other dudes, all these other gurus.
No, that's my boy 50. I like 50.
50 Cent, that's one of my
Dog,
favorite
bro.
rappers too.
That's
you
my
know?
favorite rapper ever.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, one of my faves. I'm not a big Eminem fan, but he had an impact.
Hey,
but people are gonna argue the same thing with
Don't
Eminem.
mess with that boy.
They're gonna say, "Oh, Eminem is comparable to I don't know, maybe Drake or some shit." And I'm gonna say, "Hell no!"
Really?
But obviously, numbers. Show
Eminem
that
was
shit, too.
not
No,
that good.
but M.
I
Eminem
think
was
so
not that
too.
good.
But I do
He
like
was
that one
not
song.
that
who will battle M?
That's if, I
But
mean,
that's
if
a
you want
different
people-
story.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
whole
different
freestyle,
thing.
Freestyle.
Bro,
Who will battle
Even
M?
Michael Jackson couldn't even freestyle. Fucking M.
Eminem, exactly.
Nobody could. Like name one.
But who wants to listen to freestyle all the time? Like,
Hey,
That's
that's
true,
how they.
but that's
do-
why
but
music is
remember-
art. Music
But
is
remember,
subjective.
that's how they did it back in the day. What do you think Biggie was doing in the streets?
yeah, Biggie was
Biggie was
incomparable to
battling.
Eminem,
Everybody
though.
used to battle back in the day, battle in the streets.
Yeah.
And that used to take it over. Nobody battles no more because everything's pre-scripted. Everything's already written down, pre-done. That's why if you hear a dude rap now, you're like, oh, that ain't come from the dome. That's been pre-scripted. That's been written down. He's done rehearsed that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
back in the day, you would go in the streets and you would have to just freestyle, just go. Your opponent would show up. You didn't know nothing about him, and you would just get down, freestyle.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what Biggie was doing. That's what a lot of them was doing back in the day. You
Yeah,
know.
So of course, music's very subjective, and that's what it is.
So guys, I think this was awesome. I think we covered
Yeah,
a
good talk.
a lot of awesome topic, and we had a lot of
I
different.
think Drake's the
opinions.
greatest of all time, still though. For
Oh,
all the
come on,
dogs,
man.
baby,
Look.
for all the dogs. I mean, it's a
Uh-oh, he got it on.
It's a good-
He
it's
got
a
it
good-
on.
It's a good album.
He got it
you know,
on. Like all we got to do is get little 3-year-olds or 2-year-olds to like
Come drawing it.
to come draw on some stuff, and we can start selling merch too. That's when you know you're big.
Yeah.
When you get your little kid to draw on something randomly and sell it for like $100.
that proves another point, right?
Another
That
point.
proves
Another point.
That proves another point.
Another
How,
one.
how impactful he was. So
Especially
he
to your
still
life
is.
because you wearing it right now. But, hey, but that's big. That's big.
all right,
All right, guys. Well, I think it was a great show. I think we talked about a lot of content.
And
I think
yeah,
it was awesome. But
time
hey,
to wrap this
time to
motherfucker
wrap it up.
You know, this is the Talking That Ish podcast.
Talking That
This with
Ish.
my pops, AJ, Ansel Dua, Damien Espinoza, and you know, keep talking that ish.
Keep talking that ish.
Yes, sir. Hey, Damien, look at the camera real quick. Talking that ish.
Keep talking that ish.
For real. Keep talking that ish.